Hey, we are live. So, welcome, Fee, on this very pretty, what am I saying? Very bright and pretty Monday morning. um, I'm so excited to have you here. Now, I have lost count of my interviews. I reckon this is 12th or 13th, but it's going at a super fast pace, and I'm just loving to get so much gold from each one of you that now I can't wait to discover what you have for us. So without any further ado, I'm going to hand it over to you so you can tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Thank you. It's so lovely to be here too. And we're in New Zealand. I'm in New Zealand, and the weather is absolutely stunning here at the moment. So it's been good. So I am a mother of 3 and a grandma of 3.
Wow.
And unfortunately my grandchildren live overseas, or most of them live overseas in America, so they are quite far away. But with the technology today, it's wonderful because we can see each other, on Skype,
exactly.
so it's not too bad. So I love technology.
Of course, that's really nice to hear, coming from a grandmom.
Yeah, that's right. So what I do is I'm a vegan. That is my lifestyle, my chosen lifestyle, and I have been a vegan for a long time. I really can't put a time on it because it kind of morphed and I evolved into it. So I started being a vegetarian back in the 90s and then kind of morphed into a vegan. I have because of the lifestyle that I've chosen, I work a lot with an animal welfare organisation here in New Zealand called SAFE. And from that, I talked to a lot of people, and that was where I got inspired to write my books. So I have got, at the moment, I've got 4 books that I have written, which take people from like the nutrition side of it, but take people from being vegetarian right through to being vegan. So it depends on where they're at that stage. And I've just finished off my last book, the 5th book in this particular series. So that's about to be published. And that will wrap up.
Yeah.
So it's been fun, but it's something that I'm passionate about, so it's very easy for me. So I also have just kind of like from about the beginning or the middle of 2016, I then decided to sort of become quite visible in helping people to go plant-based, whether that's just for a day or a couple of days a week, but committing to being animal-free for, sort of a certain time. And as I said, whether that's just plant-based or whether it's right through to vegan, it doesn't matter. So I have a YouTube channel, and I do like discussing. I've also do things like I'll do tips, and I'm in the kitchen sometimes, and sometimes I'm not. So it just depends. Very random. I sort of call myself a random grandma, but
that's really catchy.
Yeah, random vegan grandma. So so this year, 2017, is now focused on really getting in to help others, because one of the things that I find is that people would like to go plant-based, but they don't know where to start. They don't know how to start. And so that's what I try to do, is to get in there and coach. And sometimes it might be just a matter of 2 sessions, get them started, get them into it, and then, make sure that they're okay. And then that's it. And they're on their own. And I'm always there for them, obviously. But, it's getting people started. And I think once people actually get onto, once they step foot onto a plant-based way of eating, I don't want to use the word diet, but a plant-based way of eating, it actually opens their minds to the health benefits, and it opens their hearts to the animal welfare. Compassion.
Exactly. Definitely.
And it just kind of evolves from there. So that's what I do pretty much in a nutshell. I live alone. I don't have a partner at the moment, and I actually go house sitting. So that's what I thoroughly enjoy it. I usually look after cats, or look after animals for people. And so when on my YouTube, I'm usually in a different kitchen, and it's quite fun.
Yeah, of course. I mean, totally. Now I get it why it's, all the more random grandma.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is really cool. And I think thanks for sharing with us your story. I'm seeing you have beautifully, like, of course, your story sounds like it has evolved over a period of time. And you have very beautifully accepted what was coming along, and you have blended it, and you started to enjoy it. And I really think so. You have actually made the most of what came your way.
Yes, very much so. And sort of since the turn of this century, there has been quite a growth in veganism and plant-based, both for health and for animals, and people are becoming a lot more aware of what plant-based meals can do for you. So it's definitely growing, and it's growing quite quickly. Which is lovely.
Which is good. Yeah, which is good because, we just want to be kind to animals. Like, no living being should be killed to become somebody's food. No,
that's right, exactly.
All right, cool. So thank you so much, Fee. Now, what I want to understand is, of course, the first step did not begin on a high. I'm assuming because from my experience, from my little experience, much lesser than yours. Of course, it began in a place which was deep down in the trenches. So what was that lowest, deepest, darkest moments? And how did you overcome the fear that came along with that moment?
There were, as far as going plant-based or having vegetarian meals, that kind of, let me back the truck up. My oldest son was probably sort of like born a vegan. I know that sounds odd, but he just didn't want to have any animal. He wasn't allergic, he had no allergies or anything like that, but when the spoon came towards him with anything animal on it, he'd just turn his head. For some reason, he kind of like just knew that he didn't want to consume animals. So although I mean over a period of his little life he did have some some animal products, he he just was not at. So in those days, which was kind of like in the very early 80s, I'd heard of the word vegan. And
me too.
Vegetarians in New Zealand were hippies, with like bed. Yeah, exactly. And kind of like, woo. So it was very much like, oh my God, what am I going to feed this child? Now, we were very fortunate that we lived on an avocado orchard. We grew avocados. So it was quite easy to give him avocados, which is a whole food in itself practically. So it was, he started off with that. And then I sort of like met one of these hippies, and this hippie family who were vegetarian, and they were wonderful. And they sort of taught me things about, the pulses and, beans and lentils, etc. So even though the rest of the family remained meat eaters, we kind of had, I was replacing the meat for him. So I got into the habit of eating these kinds of foods without realizing what it was all about. So And then there was a stage in the late 90s where I was on my own, and meat was actually too expensive to purchase. I was, that was my lowest point. I was absolutely broke. I had no money, and I had to cut the budget somewhere, and I found it was cheaper and easier to buy, a bulk supply of lentils than it was to buy minced meat or whatever. Yeah. So I started to learn. By this time, my son is older. He wasn't living at home, and he actually is an amazing cook. And so he taught me a lot. He taught me gave me a lot of recipes to start with, the basics. And so that was where it started. Deepest, darkest, apart from that period, I didn't really, and it's overcoming fear. It wasn't. I've been very fortunate that I grew up with parents who were very forward thinkers, and they had little sayings all through my life. And one saying that my father used to say was, "You take what life throws at you and you push on, because life is for the living." And I just always adopted that philosophy, and it was like, it doesn't matter what life is. I'm, this time in 12 months, this stress that I'm having now will be gone. So it was definitely a mind attitude thing of, this will pass. What my deepest. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I overcoming the fear.
Let's chuck the fear.
Fear, but overcoming was more kind of like then learning and researching, and having the internet was just absolutely brilliant. And that sort of thing. So, and I would talk to lots and lots of people, and that's kind of how I started.
I think it's such a gift your parents gave you, right? I mean, it's such a gift your dad told you, that thing which gave you the perspective. Even when you were feeling low, you had the perspective that this too shall pass.
Yes, exactly.
So beautiful, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. So, as a result of where you began, and what I'm thinking, I'm just looking for some 3 key nuggets that maybe you would want to pass on to, whoever wants to turn vegan or even vegetarian to start with, right? So in your journey, what are 3 principles that you've learned which will help them stick to their thing?
I think the first thing is they must know exactly why they are doing it. So it might be, they must have a reason as to why. Sometimes it's health. Sometimes they've seen a video or a documentary or something like that, so it's animals. But they must have a reason. Usually it will be health. Will be the reason to start with, and then it goes from there. So they must have a reason, and they must. I sort of always sort of think, it's really good to maybe write it out and put it on the fridge. My health matters to me, something like that. Okay, they put it on the fridge, or if it's animals, they do something for the animals. That's key number 1. The second thing is that not to stress about your vitamins or your minerals and your protein and your so don't stress about the nutrition. Have whole food and eat the rainbow.
Oh, I love that.
Those are 2 things that are, have whole food and eat the rainbow. It's nice to go organic if you can, but quite often organic food is very, very expensive. So I sort of feel that you're better to go and go to farmers markets. And the beauty is that farmers markets have increased. There are more and more farmers markets out there.
Yep.
You can talk to the actual farmer and find out whether it's spray-free food. But to go, it's keeping your food as whole as possible and not using processed food, and having a wide variety. So as long as you're having the food that is in each group, like your pulses and like the beans, lentils,
for protein. Yep.
As well as your vegetables, and in your vegetables have Eat the Rainbow.
So what do you mean by rainbow? Do you mean like the all colors, or
colors? So have as much vibrant colors on your plate as possible. Because each color all vegetables are jam-packed. All vegetables have all the nutrients. But some will have more than others. So like your dark green vegetables and will have things like a lot more iron in them. You'll still get iron from a yellow vegetable.
That's right.
Not much. So if you powerhouse your food over a period of the day, right, and you have all the different colors during the day, that's great. And dark colors are really brilliant, like beetroot, amazing. That beautiful dark purple is absolutely good, and it looks beautiful.
I know. I'm also reminded of the pomegranate.
Yes,
very rich in
absolutely.
iron. And
totally. But it includes colors like brown, with your quinoa and your brown rices and things like that. So it's everything, and it's just like don't stress about carbs. Or we all have to have the carbohydrates. We all have to have the fats. But if you're eating plant-based, all of those things are healthy for you and are good for you.
And again, I think it's today in this generation, the world is there are a lot of people who are distracted and believe that carbs and fats are bad, but then there's a whole tribe which is coming back to reality, coming back to the fact that they exist. Nature made carbs and fats and proteins and vitamins because put together they make a complete meal.
That's right. And they make a complete person. So the complete person as a whole needs all of those things. So,
I mean, if we didn't have any fats, we would just be like walking pieces of skeleton, right? So we definitely need the fat. And it's actually amazing because I'm vegetarian, and I'm vegetarian since birth because that was the way. I'm a Hindu, and many generations in my family have been vegetarian. So I was never even tempted to eat meat. But then when I came to Australia, I come across a lot of people asking me, what do you do for protein? But they just totally miss the point.
I know, they fixate on protein. It's like, you only need this much protein. You and meat eaters just have too much protein, and it causes an acid build up in the body, and to defend against that acid, there is a particular name for it, but to defend against it uses calcium to break down that acid. And where do they get the calcium? It draws the calcium out of the bones. And if you have a look at all of the really full-on meat-eating dairy countries, the
density
results of bone, it's just I can't think of the word, the disease, the bone disease, osteoporosis is always on. It's on the rise. It goes up. But countries that don't have as much meat and very little dairy, they don't even have osteoporosis. It's, to me, it's logical.
But again, I think what I loved best was logically people know that a lot of things are not good for them, but they will really be able to implement it and, stay the route, when they have a very clear why. And this not only applies in, turning vegetarian or vegan, but also in business. Like when I start working with any client, to grow their business, they first need to know why they want to be in the business itself. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. And I think that why is incredibly important if you want to move on to a certain path.
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
Or whatever.
Yeah, right. Okay. Now, an interesting question coming your way, Fee. So, in the process, of course, like I'm constantly referring back to your entire journey from there to here, to now being a successful, what can I say, vegan coach almost, right? You are a vegan coach.
Yes.
So, what was your one mistake that, given a second chance, you would do things differently?
Okay, definitely. If I look back, I would have a lot more vegetarian meals when I was bringing up when the children were little. So I would have had a lot more. I still probably would have had the meat. I don't know, but I would definitely have had I would have brought the family into that vegan way of eating.
Yep.
As a result of my son. So I would have brought my family into a vegan way of eating. That probably is the kind. Strangely enough, my son is vegan. I have one daughter who is. She's vegetarian. She will eat eggs occasionally, but the rest of her meals are vegan. So she's a diet. It's mostly vegan. And then the other daughter is she is a meat eater, but she is very much into everything has to be organic. All her vegetables, fruits, all that sort of stuff. Most of her meals are vegan, but every so often they will have a meat meal. She goes up the road because some friends of hers up the road have got a goat, and so she will go and milk the goat once a week and get goat milk. Which she makes into cheese. And so she has a little animal product. So she does have some animal food in there, but most of her food is is pretty much vegan. So then that's my three children.
Beautiful. Wow. Cool. So I think start them young. What I'm getting from what you said is start them young if you want to promote a way of life, and start subtly, because if you would tell a meat eating family suddenly that we are turning vegetarian, it would have not been received well. But you had a foot in the door with your son.
Yeah.
So you could have made that lentil soup or that lentil curry, whatever, and just, introduce it to the table, and everyone will have a taste of it, and then they start liking it.
Exactly. And that's what I kind of didn't really do. I didn't understand because, as I said, I completely not a Kiwi thing at all. So
I can imagine.
So it was very foreign to me to have this vegan child. And of course, as I said, I didn't even know the word existed.
Yeah. And I don't think it existed, or maybe it existed in some nooks and corners of the world. But because when I started working, I used to work for a multinational pharma, and my manager used to be London based. So when she found out, I'm vegetarian, she confirmed. She asked me, Shilpa, you're vegetarian, not vegan, right? And at that time, this was barely 5 years ago, I did not even know what vegan is, because I was just a very happy vegetarian girl from India. So I actually researched what's vegan, and then I was like, no, I can't be vegan. So I actually hear you. You never know, I might reach out to you, because I realize and I feel like, what's the need? The logic that I've heard for veganism is, why do people need, cow's milk? Cow's milk is for the calf, and mom's milk is for the baby. But so that's one thing.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to do milk, why don't we do human milk?
Exactly.
Everybody would sort of say, ew, or dog's milk or cat's milk. I mean, why pick on the cow? And if you think of it, that yes, it is a breast milk for the calf, but look at the size of that calf.
Yeah,
that milk is designed for the calf and for that calf to grow, just like our milk is designed for our babies to grow.
Yeah.
And that calf grows really quickly.
Yep.
It is a big animal.
Yep.
We are not, we're not designed that way. So it's really, I find it sort of, I mean, it's a very cruel industry anyway.
Yeah.
A shocking industry.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's health-wise, we don't need it. In fact, it actually is. I would say that dairy is worse for us health-wise than meat is.
Mm.
Dairy is really, really
yeah. Of course, like in this interview, I don't want to of course, all of you who listen to it, it's purely your choice and your decision. Both of us are not trying to impose anything on you, but it just happens that our beliefs are similar. So that's why we're talking about it. But having said that, all respect for you meat eaters, like in this world, there's nothing right and there's nothing wrong. So because honestly, I'm going to be honest here, there used to be a time in my life when I used to judge meat eaters, right? Because I was so naive. I was just born and brought up in my very private world. And so meat eaters were people, like I had a very broad general assumption that they are not very good people,
Right.
Yeah, because they eat meat, and I'm good because I don't eat meat. But then I felt so guilty after I found out, the process of like constantly impregnating the cows and, keeping them pregnant so we can get the milk, and then, sending the calf to slaughterhouses. So I really feel guilty, and I still haven't been able to get over the milk.
Right.
Yeah, so I know, like I'm no good if I want to do something and I'm not able to. So
I don't. If someone comes up to me, like on my, as I said at the beginning, I'm with this animal welfare organization. It's called SAFE. It's it's a voice for the animals to our government. Yeah. So it's not an animal rights movement, or it's not a undercover or anything like that.
Okay.
So but we do a lot of stalls, and people will come up to me at the stall, and they are so proud of the fact that they'll deliberately say things like, "I only buy free range eggs."
Yep.
And it's kind of like, I have to zip it, because
I know, and I have come across something which is, even the next level. So a friend of mine said, "I only buy organic meat." Like, what do you mean by organic meat? So
the cow is still getting killed. But so I always sort of say, that is great. Good on you, because to me it is a step in the right direction.
Exactly.
And it is, people don't come to a decision until they are ready to come to a decision.
Yep. I agree.
That is one thing that I have learned over the years, and it's another little snippet you can put down.
Yeah.
So, people only reach a decision when they are ready to reach that decision.
I love it. Yeah.
The rest of the time they have on. They don't know. They have the blinkers on.
Yeah. And, also I think, from this, what I can take for our listeners is, if you want to take this step, like go vegetarian or vegan, and it seems like a big step for you, you're a meat eater, don't, take it easy on yourself. Like take it one step at a time. Because if you want to stay in the game for the long haul, just go slow and steady, and train your body, train your mind to receive and accept these lentils, and trust you're getting all the proteins. Because if you don't believe you're well fed, your mind will keep on bringing up those objections, right?
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Yeah. Basically, they can do the research and then implement. Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Slow and steady.
Yes, exactly. So, of course, we've shared some really nice and, gentle tips for, for the listeners. Would you want to wrap up this interview with maybe one or two key takeaways for people who secretly aspire to travel this path but don't have the courage? And I'm one of them. Like, I have not been able to give up butter.
Oh, okay. Right. Because you have ghee, don't you?
Yeah, ghee and butter, exactly. So I could still do without butter, but ghee is really special.
I actually, yes, and I understand that. That is it's very good to cook with. For me, I switched from butter to coconut oil. And I use that, and I find that I still get the good browning, because with coconut oil, you can actually go to a really high heat with it. Mm-hmm. You can take it to a high heat. Okay. So that is really good. And you can get coconut oil either still with the taste of coconut, or what they call deodorized, so that the taste is out. So if there's something that you don't want to have the taste, you can actually get that coconut oil as well. So I did switch there. The other thing is, I think for you to understand that that cheese and butter are actually quite addictive. There is, also with cheese, there is something in there that is, it hits the brain, and it's to do with the casein, I think, and it hits the brain, and it has a fairly sort of like, it's as addictive as heroin. So although it's not like heroin, it is a different addiction. Yeah. But this is one of the things I would be vegan, but, and it's usually always, I can't give up the cheese, or as in your case, the butter.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is. And I think that if you understand that, I think what you can do is, a little bit like going plant-based, you take one step at a time.
Yep.
You can, actual fact, decide, all right, on a Tuesday and a Thursday, I will use coconut oil instead of the butter.
Yeah.
I will have minimal free days on this day and that day, and just see what happens, and start to experiment.
Yeah, that's
with it.
A good tip. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny, like, I don't know if you've heard of this in Indian culture, but, we Indians, we fast a lot, right?
Yes.
So there's millions of gods and goddesses in our mythology, in our culture. And, people pray and worship to 10 gods at a time, because ultimately they are all they are all the Hindu god family. So, Tuesday is the day of, this god, and Thursday is the day of this god. So,
right.
So it could be something like that. Like I can make sense out of it, Yeah.
Yes.
So there are people in India who go meatless on these, these 2 days, because they want to respect these gods.
Right. So for someone like yourself who is vegetarian and wanting to sort of like try out the vegan way, then that is a way of doing it. for those who are meat eaters still, to go one day, it's even to start with 1 day a week, where you go completely animal free, and there is no dairy, no eggs. You can go like vegetarian, but you're kind of defeating the purpose. To be pure plant-based, whether it be for health or animals, whatever, is better.
Yep.
So pick a day and go completely animal-free on that day. And yeah, I mean, there's so much information out there on the internet. I mean, they can come to me by all means.
Yep.
But for her, there's definitely lots of information on what you can have instead of. How do I bake a cake without eggs?
Yeah, that would be something, because I don't have eggs. Okay, I'm going to reach out to you separately, right?
Okay.
All right. So, thank you so much, Fee. This was so valuable, and it really connected with my values as well. However, not that I only want to bring in biased people on the interview, but of course, it just happened spontaneously. I didn't even know what you're an expert at. So very good interview. Thanks for your snippets. I'm going to create something like, a nice poster which helps people to take that first step. And would you want to just share with us, how can people reach out to you if they want to?
Sure. I have a website, Fee O'Shea, FeeOshea.com. And on there you can contact me. You can, there's a blog on there. There's all sorts of things. And you can connect through to the Facebook page as well. So, yeah, FeeOshea.com is the best way of starting anyway.
Beautiful. It's really nice. I like, you are the brand, you are your business, and you are your values. Very good.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Fee. It has been a really, really, what can I say? It has been my pleasure to be interviewing you, and to be able to take your message and share it with my audience. I'm also going to share with you the recording so you can share it with your audience or people, who who want to take it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll put it up on my website.
Yeah. All right. Cool. I'll let you know once the recording is ready.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm just going to pause the recording now.